Hello. Hello, hello, hello. I can't get over that it's February already. Sort of crazy how fast January went. So I hope everybody's doing good. I am happy as a clam, a bug in a rug. So for those of you in the South or other countries, I'm in northern Minnesota and we just had some of the best days. I think we reached 50 degrees the other day, which is highly, highly unusual. So I love that. Warmer weather. The little dogs love it, although they're still wearing their winter coats. But like yesterday, they were outside a lot. So welcome. So today, here's my plans. But as you know, I'm always open to suggestions. So we're going to do the healing pulse, which is a form of energy that does healing, and I love it because it goes to where it's directed. This is my own creation. It contains frequencies from my own personal healing, plus a tool that is energy called Shambhala, although they've changed the name to something else. And I don't like the new name, so I learned Shambhala, and so that's what I call it. Oh, and look who's here. So this is Duncan, my little ginger dog. He loves to sit here when I'm doing healing. No licking, Duncan. So what else? So we're going to do our first healing pulse about 10 after, and then we'll do another one about 30 minutes in and another one about 45. Although lately, when it's a little crazy, sometimes I get off schedule. But I always try and fit in 3 healing pulses. And if you stay till the end, we always do aura strengthening. And sometimes we do something called brain balancing. We don't do that every time. And then in between the healing pulses, we'll do some individual work. So that's where you'll put in the comments what you want to work on. Like maybe today you have a headache, or you feel angry or sad. So I use a tool called the emotion code that I've sort of tweaked to serve my own needs. And we'll see if you've got what's called a trapped emotion. So that's from the book, The Emotion Code by Dr. Bradley Nelson. So, but I've sort of expanded and moved on past it. So let's see who we've got. So Marina is here. Marina lately has been contacting us from, gosh, total brain blank about what country you're in. Although I hope you're somewhere new and exotic, Marina, because she's been looking for a new job. Um, and there's Jenny and Arlene. Have you been here before, Arlene? Regardless, welcome. So, what time is it? So we've got a couple minutes and we'll do our first healing pulse. I'll give you instructions. With the healing pulse, it is, even though it's the energy is from me, you play a role in your healing. Wonderful, Joni. I was born in Wisconsin, so, and lived in Wisconsin quite a while, but more western. So, and I lived in Superior, up by Lake Superior and Eau Claire and all those good places around there. Menominee. Wonderful. Oh, and there's Lorna. Welcome, Lorna. So let's chat a little bit about the healing pulse. So if you really like the healing pulse, if you sign up for my newsletter on my website, there is a private link that will give you access to a YouTube video where I've got 3 healing pulses in a row. And then I talk a little bit more about the history of the healing pulse. And so that might be something that you want to do. So I do have a newsletter. I have been very lax. So when I initially started it last year, I thought I would do it monthly, but think in the comments I say monthly/quarterly. So I didn't do a January newsletter, and so far I haven't done a February newsletter. But part of the reason for the newsletter isn't deep dives into any topic. It's more just reminders of, what's going on, especially like if I'm going to do um, a new event. Usually I try and get them out before the first, but I've been a little distracted about life, so I have not done one recently. But that would be a good reason to sign up. I do trainings too. Like a couple weeks ago, I did a Yusui Holy Fire Reiki 1 and 2, and I typically do that online with Zoom, and it's definitely a fun and very rewarding experience, both for me teaching and I think for my students too. That's it, Marina. Total brain blank. I was thinking something with a C, and I'm like, okay, Croatia, but you're hoping to get somewhere else. All right, so with the Healing Pulse, the fabulous thing about it is it goes to where you direct it to go. And so I'm going to send you the energy and you're going to direct where it goes. So the hardest part is figuring out where you want to receive it. So if you've got physical pain or discomfort, that's pretty easy. That's where you're going to direct your hands to go. But if you have anxiety or something emotional going on, I want you to think about where do you feel it. So like with me, when I'm anxious, it's the pit of my stomach. So that's where I would want to send the energy. And so next, I want you to rub your hands together until they're warm. Place your hands exactly where you want to receive the energy. Imagine my hands are on yours. And here's the most important part. Allow the energy to flow. So I'm going to send your hands energy, and you're going to allow that. And then your hands will also send energy too, because I do believe we all have healing in our hands. And so just imagine the energy flowing. If you're sensitive, you might feel a little bit of tingle, or you might feel a temperature change. But just imagine with each breath in, the healing's going a little deeper, a little further. With each breath out, you are releasing what doesn't belong, or maybe something that isn't even yours, that's sort of stuck within. So breathe in and heal, breathe out and release, and just allow that to go. So the things that I often use on clients, if someone comes to see me and they're nervous or anxious, we'll do a healing pulse right away because I want them to be a little bit more settled and calm before we start their session. Or for some people, it does really good with pain. And oftentimes it doesn't cure. It's a rare time when it does cure. Every once in a while, I do find someone that it just snaps and it's gone and it doesn't come back. But my goal for the healing pulse typically is to at least get you in a circumstance that you're feeling better. So just breathe that in. It'll be just okay. So that was our first healing pulse, especially for you newbies. Let me know how you did. And even for the people that show up month after month, let me know how you did too. So I've got my book here. So in my little book, when did I start this? So my first mini healing was May 7th, 2020. And then I did weekly, except for a few random ones that I missed, weekly at June 4th. Or no, weekly April 29th, 2021. I restarted. Gosh, when did I start doing? Oh, my last weekly was May 4th, 2023. That was show number 142. And then I went monthly. But you know, there are times I do miss doing something weekly. But here's the thing. I've told myself I need to make some money. And so I've been doing other things, not healing typically. But sometimes I'd like to make money doing something live, but I haven't quite decided what that is. So if you have any suggestions, let me know. Well, thanks for letting me know, Jenny. Jenny's just stopped in to say hello. Oh, Joni felt warm. Very good. And Caroline is from Ontario. Cool. Arlene's from Canada too. Wonderful. So, just making sure I didn't miss anybody. So sometimes when the chat gets a little crazy for me, I get behind. So if I miss you, be sure you put something in the chat to remind me. Don't let me have gone by your chats. So let's see. I'm just seeing if anyone had anything to work on. Oh, Caroline. All right, Caroline, you are number 1 on the list. Unlocking, unblocking. Abundance. That's a nice one. All right, Renee, UTI. Okay, so I'm going to start, and then if anyone has anything they want to work on, just put it in the comments. So let me see what list I'm going to use. So I've got the typical motion code list. Ooh, can you see that? But usually I use something else. Let me see what I want to use. So with this, I determine answers through muscle testing and or intuition. Okay, so we're going to use a couple different ones. I thought I had... Oh, there it is. All right, so I've got 2 different ones. That's quite a nice dream, Joni. By the ocean, yes. All right. So Sherry, what's your daughter's name, Sherry? And is there anything specific or emotions in general? All right, so let's see. So what I'm looking for is, so I find an emotion, and you did put Lily there. I just skimmed past it. Thank you for confirming that. Sherry? All right. So what I'm looking for is an event. And normally I will get sort of the theme of the event. And so like with Caroline, I'm getting weakness/weariness. This is a list called Emotions, Sensations, and Behaviors. It's got maybe 400 different emotions, sensations, and behaviors on this. So what I do is I figure out what it is. And so there was an event around weakness and weariness. And then I look to see if there's an age. So with Caroline, let's see. So I'm getting there's an age. So ages are the hardest though. So usually I'm pretty decent at ages, and it's usually plus or minus a year. So let's see. So I'm getting around age 23 for Caroline. So as I said, plus or minus a year, so somewhere 22, 23, 24, there was some type of an event that sort of had a theme of like weakness or weariness. Let's see, is it both? No. Which one is it? Is it weakness? It's more weariness. Caroline, does that ring a bell? Weariness. So, and then what I do is I release it. And I can just release it, typically. If I can't, I will let you know. But I also think that it'll be a stronger release with your help and assistance. So Caroline's got an event, and I'm getting that it's something about, is it about the birth? No, but maybe was it about the pregnancy and having a baby and all that comes with having a baby. You are just bone tired. So, but a piece of this weariness is blocking your abundance. So I'm going to work on releasing it. And Caroline, if you have a background, because many of you have backgrounds in releasing emotions and events and things like that. So put forth the energy and support to do that. And if you don't, just wish it. Okay? So I'm going to release weariness and that event and energy that Caroline has been hanging on to. So then I'll just double check. Did that release? Yes. I'm getting that release. All right, Renee, let's see with Renee. So sometimes physical issues have emotional things that sometimes they attract it, sometimes they make it harder. So let's see what we're going to do for Renee. Let's see, I'm going to use a different list. So I'm getting there's something about procrastination, Renee. Let me get an age and let's see what it links to. Around 28. So somewhere 27, 28, 29. Was there something going on that you were procrastinating about and it didn't have good consequences? So somehow there's a link to the UTI. Is it more like a guilt kind of thing? So I'm going to go ahead and release this. And Renee, just send healing energy to clear this. Okay, so I'm getting that released. So, and with this, oftentimes, especially if you have things going on, sometimes there's layers of things. And to release one layer might bring up another layer, but I highly encourage you to keep working on it. All right, next, we're going to work on Lily. So I think, let me just see, because Lily said help heal her emotions. So, all right. So typically, the work I do is more releasing, so you don't hang on to emotions that you um, don't need. So let's see. I'm going to use my bigger list. So let's see. So I'm getting the energy of mistrust, and let me get an age for Lily. Getting like 16. So somewhere 15, 16, 17, there was some type of an event that caused her to mistrust. Let's see, mistrust what? Mistrust adults. So we're going to release that. Just send wishes and hopes that that release, Lily. Let's just see. Getting that released. All right, got to keep up on my list. So Arlene is next, but I need to write down. Right shoulder for Arlene. And then I've got a few people I need to write down. All right, Joni. Finances. Black. What's the block? Lorna. Strengthen. Straighten. Back. Cool name, Carolyn. Is it Huguet? Or is the H or is the G pronounced a little different? Very cool. I like names like that. Huette. So healing for polymyalgia rheumatica. Is that like a form of arthritis? All right, Marlene, we're going to work on releasing the emotion that might help you. You said Ontario? French, yes. Oh, there's Joan. Wonderful, Joan. Glad you're here, Joan, representing that part of the world. Okay. Arlene, right shoulder. And right after Arlene, we'll do our next healing pulse. So think about where you want to receive it. Okay, so let's see what. All right, Arlene, this is a serious one. Sabotage. And so usually when sabotage comes up, it's generally not yours, it's someone else. So let's see an age, and then oftentimes a name might pop into your head that is connected to the sabotage. You know that saying, stabbed in the back? That oftentimes is sabotage from someone else. And so let's see what age we get. You are very welcome, Caroline. So let's see. Sabotage for Arlene. Around age 29, Arlene. So somewhere 28, 29, 30, somewhere in there. Female. Does anyone's name pop into your head? So I'm going to go ahead and release the energy of sabotage. And if you're sensitive, you might feel a lifting and a changing of your right shoulder right away. I love it when that happens. Doesn't always happen, but when it does, it just makes me smile. All right, so let's see. Did that release? I do get yes. Arlene, let me know how you're doing. All right, let's do our next healing pulse. And then next, I've got Joni and Lorna. Okay. So let's do our next healing pulse. So with this, especially those of you who have physical issues going on, like, let's see, so UTI, Lily, with your emotions, where do you feel those emotions? I mean, do they well up in your chest or do they make you feel nauseous? Where do you feel those? Because that's where you're going to want to send the healing pulse energy. Arlene, you've got that right shoulder. And with any of these places, if you can't physically reach it, imagine your hands are there. You get? I'm curious where you're affected most because I want you to send energy. So if you can just imagine that your hands are there, imagine my hands on yours. So start with rubbing your hands together and place your hands exactly where you want to receive the energy. Imagine my hands on yours. And just breathe in that energy and the healing. Imagine it going exactly to where it needs to go. The energies are really flowing. Usually by the end of the night, my hands feel like they're on fire because they're like so tingly. They're already pretty tingly. So the energy's really flowing tonight. And I think part of that is we've got some healers in the room too, which is cool. Go, Darlene. Okay. So Joni she's wondering what the block is for her finances and why there's so much lack. So let's see what comes up. So I'm getting lack of control. So some type of event where you didn't have control. Let's see how old you were. All right, Joan. I'll add that emotional lump. Okay, so let's see. Get an age for Joni. I don't know if that's good or bad, Caroline, but I hope it makes you feel better. Okay, and an age for Joni. Oh, Joni, you were just little. 8. So like 7, 8, 9. And that's typical not to have control at that age, because generally the adults have all the power and control. So I don't know if there was something going on that you had no power. That little piece has definitely followed you. So what I'm going to do is release the energies of that. So releasing that feeling, that event of lack of control. So with all these emotions that you have trapped, it also makes you more sensitive to it. And sometimes you keep attracting it over and over so that you are so hypersensitive that it's not real. And that's pretty common. It can drive you crazy if you've got it. So let's release and remove lack of control for Joni. Releasing and removing that. Okay, I'm getting that released. But so when you think about things, because Joni's question was, what's the block for finances and lack? And if she had lack of control in her past, as an adult, I can see the connection. But typically there's more to it than just one. So, but I think this is a good start. That would be a good idea, Caroline. Rounding. Okay, Lorna. Lorna wants to strengthen and straighten her back. So let's see, using this list, yes. Okay, Lorna, shame. Shame is one of the basis of emotions that you can have. It can do a lot of damage because, so this is, oh, Duncan's laying on my lap here. He's a little disruptive. So this is something called the map of consciousness. I've talked about it before. Usually it's in color. And so it lists consciousness levels that starts at 20, goes up to 1,000. And so the higher your level of consciousness, the better life is. It's good to be at least at a 200 because anything below that, it sort of keeps sucking you down. Shame is one of the lowest levels. So here's emotions at level 20. Despising, miserable, shame, humiliation, elimination. So let's get rid of shame because that will automatically help elevate you, Lorna. Let me get an age for this too. 13. So somewhere 12, 13, 14, Lorna. So let's imagine that that energy of shame is being released and removed. Okay, so that released. So with that, sort of stretch out your back. See if it'll crack now, whereas maybe before it wouldn't. All right, so let's see. Feeling for Caroline's mom. You go it. Let's see. What list am I going to use? And it's the word critical. Let me get an age for this. Wow, Lorna, that's all tied together. Very interesting. Yeah, somehow that's tied into shame. Okay. So Joni's got her mom. What about your mom, Joni? Did I miss a comment above? Oh, there we go. There's Mom Kathy. AFib. Memory loss. Okay. All right. Going back to Huguet. The energy of critical. Let's see what age that's from. Tension, right shoulder for Sherry. All right, so this is for Huguet. Critical. So some type of event when she was about 23, so somewhere 22, 23, 24. So was it her being critical? No, someone was critical towards her. Pretty nasty. That nastiness sort of filled her up. It definitely plays a role in what's going on with her body. Yeah, that nastiness. So let's imagine that that energy of that event, that nastiness, just imagine it flowing out of you. 'Cause that wasn't yours. That was a reflection on the person who was spewing it out. Ugh. Caroline, help her with that. Okay? I know you can. right. Marlene, we're going to do yours, and then we'll do the next healing pulse. All right, so Marlene, let's see what we're going to do here. Shyness. Let's see what age you were. You are welcome, Caroline. 8. Interesting. So we've had multiple people have ages 23 and 8. That's sort of funny. All right, so somewhere 7, 8, 9. There was something about your shyness, and it made it worse by drawing attention to it. So let's imagine can you take an eraser and erase that memory, ease it and heal it? So, because at that age, I think it sort of horrified you. But like if you look back as an adult and see it, it wouldn't have had that effect. So that was what made it hard, was your age, because you were just really sensitive and you didn't really understand what it meant. So we're going to release that. Okay, I'm getting that released. All right, so let's do the next healing pulse. So for the most part, you guys know what to do, but what if you've been using the healing pulse and now you want to do somewhere new? Maybe you should send it to one of your chakras. You know, like what if you send it to your third eye chakra? Or what if you send it to your throat chakra in hopes that it would help you be able to speak your truth? So with this, so when your hands are warm, place your hands exactly where you want to receive the energies. Imagine my hands on yours. And just allow the energies to flow. So if any of you have done breathwork training and breathwork resonates with you, I suggest doing that with this. So for instance, like the box breath. So if you do a count of 4 and in, and then hold for 4, and then out for 4, and then hold for 4. So if you do in, 1, 2, 3, 4, hold, 1, 2, 3, 4, release, 1, 2, 3, 4, hold, 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, hold, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that is the end of this healing pulse. So let me know how you did. Joan. Joan's got this emotional lump. So Joan's a healer and an amazing tarot card reader. Joan, psychic surgery. I think you need to try that. I know you haven't done it before, but I gave you instructions. And I will start it with releasing the trapped emotion that's connected to it. But I think that would be really good for you to do psychic surgery on yourself. Shame. Let's see what age you were. Okay. Thank you, Joan. Joan. So 11, 12, 13. I think you are, Caroline. And part of healing is I think we all have the capacity, but it depends on our interest and our background and training, and sometimes our awareness. So, and I think many women are healers, because the first thing you do if you have a child who fell and skinned their knee, what do? You hold their knee because you have healing in your hands. Yes, most definitely, Joni. All right, so Joan, shame 12. So let's release the energy of that. And that would make sense because that stuck in your gut. But there's more to it than just that. So, but let's release that. Okay. So, which reminds me, I'm actually going to do a little commercial tonight. So, part of me so I'm always trying new things, and sometimes it's a healing tool, it's a modality, or maybe it's just changing the way I think about things. But so my friend Dee said, you have to try this thing. She's into gadgets and so am I. So like I think this was my first gadget. So this is a Healy. It's a little complicated, and unless you're super, super sensitive to energies, I sort of quit offering it in sessions. But it's a cool tool. But my most recent gadget is biofeedback, and it's called Genius Biofeedback. And I've been having so much fun. But the crazy thing is, so I've had some blood work done, and the things that come up on my biofeedback charts match the blood work. It's crazy. And I've had some toxin testing done too. But it's got just really good visuals. So this is a visual. So this splits out things with mind, body, spiritual, and energetic fields. And so you put in what you want to check on, and it comes up, like, see if I can turn that. The colors don't. So if a circle is all the way complete, then it's a good thing, and there are the 4 different levels. So that was one thing. And then these are the different levels. It's hard to tell because I've got it. There we go. So it's got all sorts of different scans, and it rates things, and then afterwards it sends frequencies. So like Joan, I think we might have to play with this because mold is in here, and because that's come up for me a number of times. So we'll play around with this. How I've done it in a few sessions, because I just started playing around with it in January, is so we get it all set up and we let it run, and then we go on and do other things while this runs, because this sends frequencies while I'm doing other things. So it's like sort of a twofer. But Joan, I think you'll get a kick out of that. So now we're going to work on Kathy, Joni's mom, AFib and memory loss. No worries, Joan. You've got some things you're working on. So, and you need to rest for that. So let's see. We're going to focus more on the memory loss, Kathy. Let's see if there's something that's playing a role. So this list I'm using, it's got something that called malprogramming. And I don't really like the word because it's sort of a made-up word. But when I think about what it probably means, it means, you know how we sort of program our lives and our beliefs? It means that we've got some programming, especially about our life and beliefs, that isn't really good, but the programming sort of keeps us stuck. So let's see what age Kathy was. "38." So somewhere 37, 38, 39. Wow, Arlene. That's pretty cool. I hope that's a good thing. It sounds a little crazy though, doesn't it? Because Arlene's right shoulder, she's having trouble with it. Love when that happens, right? It's like magic. Okay. All right, so that released. Yeah, something. So that was like 50 years ago. So what was that, 1975? And things were so judgy back then. Um, so that doesn't surprise me. So I did get that to release, but at 86, Kathy, you probably have a lot of layers that have gotten you to the point where you're at, because as we age, if we don't deal with things, they continue to accumulate and things get worse. I'm noticing that myself. I've done a lot of emotional work, but there's some physical things that I haven't dealt with. So luckily I've done most of the emotional work, but the physical things now, I'm like, oh, I've got to keep going. Can't rest. All right, Sherry, tension right shoulder. So let's see what we've got for that. So I'm getting the word sickly. Let me get an age on that and see if that makes more sense, Sherry. Getting like age 24. So somewhere 23, 24, 25. Were you sick for a while? Hospitalized? Not a good thing? Something about that. But that energy's connected to that right shoulder. So let's release and remove sickly. Releasing and removing that. So that did release. All right, and Sherry, I want you to stand up and stretch and see if you can shift that right shoulder so it cracks, sort of like what Arlene did where her shoulder cracked a couple times. So oh, thank you, Joni. I am glad to have helped. So I've been thinking I might want to do a Valentine's Day kind of healing, and this would be a focus on heart walls. And I'm thinking I might do like a small charge, like $10. And what a heart wall is during times of stress and trouble and turmoil, especially regarding people you love, relationships and family. Um, Sometimes we build a wall around our hearts, and that's typically made up of emotions. And it really helps you in times of turmoil. But as things move on and evolve and things get better in your personal life, that wall stays around your heart and it keeps you separated from people close to you and it makes you sort of numb. And so changing and working on releasing your heart wall can be so life-changing, and it's can be just an amazing thing. So I might do something with that around Valentine's Day, but I'm not quite sure yet. So if that interests you, let me know either in the chat or um, message me on Facebook or YouTube. So, but let's do, I don't think we've done brain balancing for a while. I'm just going to see. Usually I write it down. No, it's been quite a while. So let's do brain balancing. Brain balancing. Oh, yes, Marina. Thank you. Let me see, because I didn't write you down. Ooh, and as I'm going back through, I missed Dora too. Did I miss anyone else? Good. I'm glad you said something, Marina. Okay, let's go back. Oh, Marina, I am going back closer to the beginning. I must have really missed you. Oh, there we go. I am so sorry. Marina wants to work on anxiety. Okay, good. I'm glad you both spoke up. Well, I'm glad Marina spoke up, and I'm glad I noticed that I missed Dora. Thanks for stopping by, Joan. Cool, Marina. I will let you know. So, Diane, how can your message be seen? I guess I'm not quite sure. So, your message is on Facebook. So, right now, I stream to two platforms. I do Facebook and YouTube. And it used to be that you could see each other's chats, but right now, they have some type of weird glitch so that the Facebook people can only see Facebook and the YouTube people can only see YouTube. So that's why it might look like I'm talking to someone, but you don't see anything in chat. So because it's a limitation of the streaming platform, which I think my subscription expires in May. So in the next couple months, I'm going to look for a different platform that is more user-friendly to everyone. All right, so I'm looking for underlying reasons for Marina's anxiety. And it's the energy of being lonely. Let me get an age for that. '19, Marina. So somewhere 18, 19, 20. Oh, Diane, I'm sorry I missed it. I'm so glad that you put it in again. Pinched nerve S1. Okay, so I'm releasing some type of event around 19 that you felt particularly lonely with, Marina. So let's release that. Okay, getting that released. All right. Next, Dora's got an infection on her finger. That sounds rather painful. So let's see what list I'm going to use. So I'm getting bullied. Let me get an age on this. Like around age 9, Dora, so somewhere 8, 9, 10. Was this, so I'm going to just get a little bit more information. Was it one of it? No, so you had definitely some emotional trauma, multiple events. So here's a little exercise, Dora. I want you to think of all the times that you were bullied. And what if you were able to reach into yourself during that life as a little kid and heal? So make the bully weaker and make you stronger. So you stronger, bully weaker. And then I'm going to release the energies of the trapped emotion. So, and here's something for all of you. If you have things in your past that are pretty horrible, don't hang on to it because that sort of blocks it in place. So here's an example. Say you had cancer. Horrible, horrible thing. Don't keep telling people you have cancer or you had cancer. Let it go. Release it. Don't keep bringing it up. You're healed. You don't need to tell everybody you've got cancer or you had cancer. So it's that energy that you just want to release. Does that make sense? And I know that's a little harsh, but sometimes we just need to heal and move on. Dora, I hope that helps. All right, Diane, pinched nerve S1. So let's see. Caroline, I only do this once a month, so I need to hit everybody, right? It was a little different when I did it weekly. And, again, I sort of missed that, but when it was just a little too much for me. So, all right, so let's see if because I do get there's some type of emotion that's causing Diane. So, and part of how the emotion code started was chiropractor Dr. Bradley Nelson wondered why some of his clients he'd have to adjust week after week after week, and others he'd adjust once and they were fine. And then he realized that when people had trapped emotions, if he released the trapped emotions, sometimes he didn't even have to adjust them because the body would go back to its normal position. So let's see what comes up for Diane. Self-abuse, Diane. So let me get an age. "26, Diane. So somewhere 25, 26, 27. So you were sort of nasty to yourself. And maybe you had a good reason, but you were really hard on yourself. So let's imagine that you're going to release that. So releasing and removing self-abuse. Yeah, we are our own worst critics, aren't we? Okay. So let's do, it's getting a little late. So let's just do the aura strengthening. And then next time we'll do brain balancing. So with this, it is important to have a strong aura because a strong aura helps repel negativity. And as you know, the last few years have been extra negative. There's lots of people that think that they need to tell you horrible things. So let's rub our hands together. Now with this, you can use your own personal healing frequencies, or if you want to pull in healing pulse energy, all you do is just intend that those healing pulse energies are included here. And so take your energies and then start beaming those energies to your aura. Imagine that it makes your aura thicker, stronger, very repellent. And then also within your bubble, within your auric field, what are you going to fill it up with? Fill it up with something good. Are you going to fill it up with joy, love, happiness, self-confidence? Amazing things. And if you seem to attract people that are sort of bullies, imagine you're going to add some reflective coating. Not a solid mirror, because especially if you're driving a car, you don't want to be invisible. You need to have people see you. But if you do pieces of reflectivity, especially if you've got someone sort of nasty to you, some of that will reflect back on them. Okay, so that was aura strengthening. So it's been a fabulous night. Really some good things that I'm hoping people feel better. I will be here again March 1st. And who knows, maybe I'll do this thing for Valentine's Day. I'll have to see. So if you're on Facebook or YouTube and that interests you, let me know. And so that way I know to contact you. And also, I post events and things going on Facebook. So if you're not a Facebook user, you might want to just sort of suck it up and use it, because that's where most things are posted. I do post some things on TikTok, but it's not as easy as Facebook. So, and sometimes I advertise on YouTube too, but that means I got to create a video, which I don't do that as much as I used to. So thank you, thank you. I hope everyone experienced a shift or a change. So otherwise, book a session. I also have free consultations available. My website is csummerjones. It's on the bottom of the screen.com. And you can book sessions or book a free consultation just to see. I also do hypnosis, past life regression, QHHT, BQH. So thank you, thank you. Thank you, Marlene. I will put you on the list. Thank you and Marina. So, if I don't see you sooner, I hope to see you March 1. Have a fabulous night, and thank you again. Oh, for just logging off, Baja Girl. Sorry about that. So have a good night.